Hello everybody, this is Andy, and welcome to episode 16 of Omnifactory. Now, I've done a little bit of stuff in between episodes. I may have completed a couple of quests without you guys, and I may have set up those assembling machines over here, those EV assembling machines. Yeah, I made 5 of them. We forgot to touch them last episode because we didn't really need them for what we were doing, but now I have a rubber one and 4 soldering alloy ones. These guys can make... And also I made this nice wireless crafting terminal. It was actually pretty easy. We had everything for it. Now I can make the tier 5 and tier 6 circuits. I can also make tier 3 circuits directly using the EV assembling machine. And we are in a very good place. I can now make IV machines without any issue. I don't really have any desire to right now because I'm going to have trouble powering these things right now with the type of power that I have. However, we will deal with that problem soon enough. Also, I set up 2 more blast furnaces over here. This one is making lumium, I think, and this one is making signalum. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, that is right. They're incredibly slow. They're both running at EV, and they still take approximately 100 seconds per ingot. If you see, I have 23 pieces of lumium. These things are used in wire form in the... well, I guess it's just in general crafting. They're used in... Oh, no, it's not in general crafting. It's in here, in the tier 5 and tier 6 circuits, which we need to start making. However, let's put that stuff that we've been crafting all night to good use. I have a ton of tungsten steel and a bunch of tungsten as well, and more crafting up. I'm really well off on titanium now, and more is crafting up because I have a lot of rutile. I sent a couple of missions to get more rutile, and we have a ton of mana-infused ingots. I think I bumped it up to 1,000. I'm not sure if I did that before the last episode, but we have 1,000 of these now. So let's make these machine frames. Thermal device casings, and these thermal device casings can turn into all these machines. I don't know if we want them right now, but we definitely want this. So let's throw these in the assembler, and we can begin checking out the thermal machines that we might want. I just crafted up 1 of each. Apparently this thing is bugging in and out. I'm not sure what's entering and then leaving the system. I think it might be a hot ingot, but we now should complete a couple of quests. Yep, there we go. So it wants us to make the aqueous accumulator, energetic infuser, phytogenic insulator, and the compactor. I don't know if I need any of these right now, except for the compactor. The compactor is fairly useful. It can turn plates into, or ingots into plates very, very quickly, and it can turn... Where is it? If you use the gear working die, it can turn things into gears really quickly. However, do we want to do this way right now? Because the way we're doing it right now is going to be pretty decent. Oh, that's actually a really good recipe. That's actually an incredible recipe. Maybe we'll set up 1 of these. So, the main thing I want to do this episode is upgrade our infrastructure a little bit, because we have all these machines right here, still running at MV. I cleared out a couple since the last episode, actually, like the rubber machine is now producing rubber over in our automation area, right over here. So it's a little bit faster, and we have a storage because we are now creating cables a lot faster, but I want to upgrade everything else as well. First things first, let's make those extruders faster, because right now they are painfully slow. So I have 4 EV extruders, and we just need to steal the casing, or the extruder molds out of them. Where are they? These guys, and we can set them up somewhere else. I went ahead and just set them up over here in this room. You know how I said that everything's going to be its own discrete, nice little system and it's all going to be super organized? Well, for the most part it is. It's all going to look nice. Let's put it that way. Now I have 4 extruders right here doing all of the extruding recipes we need, and they make things very fast. So let me craft up 10 of these gears. These used to be painfully slow. Now look how fast they are. That is going to save a ton of time and make my life a lot happier. Guess what? Believe it or not, I messed up again. That's actually an HV line. These things will accept HV because all these recipes will run at less than EV. They run at like LV or something. However, they won't boost up to their full speed unless they're on an EV line. So let's try this again with a fully EV system. Alright, now I have 4 of these advanced extruders set up on an EV line, and they should be working properly. Ignore the fact that these 2 middle ones look weird, it's because I had to rotate them, and I'm too lazy to take them out and place them back down, because then I have the same problem. Let me go ahead and order some, I don't know, steel gears? Let's make 20 of them. Let's see how fast this goes. And, okay, that's pretty fast. This is usually a pretty slow process. The aluminum gears are generally faster. However, I'm pretty happy with that. I also set up 4 precision laser engravers. Only 2 of them are in use right now. We're making the... what are these? These make the, CPU wafers, and these make RAM wafers. So we're getting a little bit of a backlog for CPU and RAM, and everything should be fine and dandy. Now, I should be able to request a bunch of cutting machines to put these wafers that we're making to good use. And here are 6 cutting machines set up. I have 6 of them set up for the future. However, I have 2 of them working, or 3 of them working right now. This one is going to process nano CPU wafers into nano CPUs when there are less than, I think, 10,000. There's a level emitter down there, so they're disabled right now. Because I don't want these to run forever, because EV is a little bit expensive, this guy is going to process CPU wafers into central processing units. This processes RAM wafers into RAM, and I have a ton of all these things, so for now, they are disabled. Eventually, these machines will turn on, but that won't be for quite a while. These other ones are reserved. Eventually, I'm going to need things like qubit CPU wafers or whatever, and these require a lot of work. We'll do them eventually. However, the machines are set up, so when I need to do them, they can just be thrown in and set a level emitter and get going. That also means I can come over here and tear out all of my old cutting machines. And I'm starting to get a little bit of ME lag, I think. Whenever the system recalculates itself, like whenever I break something on the system, the TPS skyrockets. However, it goes right back down a second later. So if we check our TPS right now, it's 11.21, and it'll continue to crawl back down towards 8, which is our normal. Well, okay, TPS, the TPS is 20, I'm talking about the tick time. Our tick time is 10 right now, and it'll crawl back down towards 8 whenever we begin to calm down messing with our AE system. So that means our AE system is getting somewhat large and somewhat laggy. However, it would be a lot worse if we were using export buses and crafting cards all over the place. So we should be fine to get to the creative tank, which should fix all of our problems. One of the other general use machines that we need to set up on EV is the polarizer. This might be the last time I actually set up a polarizer. I need an interface because it's going to be so fast at EV that we probably won't need to upgrade. And according to the quest book, there are no polarizer recipes that go above LV tier, so it's just a straight speed upgrade at this point. You can see it every time it flashes on to make something. Oh, it's so fast. We're definitely never going to need to upgrade this guy. Oh, that's pretty cool. And along with the polarizer, I have 3 more EV assembling machines to do various things. This one is making these very specific things that we need in very specific instances. This one is making all my casings, and this one is making all my coils. Those are things that were kind of slow before, and now they're over here and they're fast and they're on EV, which also means that I have finally, I know I've been working on this the entire episode, cleared out this entire place over here. So that means we can upgrade these CEFs to EV or IV later on and run more machines here. However, for now, I think this is going to sit empty and we're just going to admire how clean it looks. And now that we're finally settled in with all of our automation machines working a lot faster, let's begin to push the limit a little bit more. I am going to set up more blast furnaces. I expanded this room slightly just so I could fit 2 more lines of blast furnaces. Hopefully, we're running towards the last few blast furnaces we're going to need in this pack. If I can fit 12 more in here, I think that might be enough to actually finish the pack. Not entirely sure though. I could be completely wrong. However, let's set up 2 more right now. I want to make tungsten carbide, and I also want to begin making, what was it? Oh yeah, I want to make these glowstone doped monocrystalline silicon boules. That's a mouthful. These things are basically just better silicon boules. However, these glowstone doped wafers can be used to make like very specifically like these NAND wafers, the NOR wafers, and these power wafers can only be made with the glowstone doped silicon boule. They can also be made with the Naquata doped. However, Naquata doped is a little bit away. So I'm going to start making these glowstone doped silicon boules and use the... what level does this need to be at? I think I'm just going to make a bunch of nichrome just to be sure so we don't have to worry about it. What I was saying is I'm going to make the glowstone doped monocrystalline silicon boules specifically for the things that need them, because we're doing really well on wafers right now. I have 16,000 and we're still cooking them up in the blast furnace that I have over there. So we should be fine, and we aren't running machines that are cutting wafers right now, so we really should have no problem. We should start building up a backlog of them. And here it is, 2 more blast furnaces running at EV. I need to set level limiters for these guys. However, we're creating the monocrystalline silicon boules here, and we're creating the tungsten carbide here. And let me check how much tungsten carbide we have. We already have 31. This is used for, it's apparently a really good tool material. However, it's used for something. Oh, it's used for these platings. These platings are used in this, so I think I'm going to set a level limiter around 5 stacks for this. So we will have, not 5 stacks, 4 stacks for this. So we'll have 512 ingots. Through a lot of concerted effort, I have managed to put level emitters on all of these, and level emitters on all of these cutting machines, because they're now all up and running, because I'm making these power IC rate wafers, so we can turn them into the power IC circuits, so we can turn these into better circuits later on. However, I don't think we're really there yet. We don't have Quantumize, and they're a little bit expensive. I mean, I guess we could make them. We have the radon salts, but not an issue for right now. So basically what I'm doing is I'm stopping all of the wafer production when I get to a certain level. So like over here, I have this monocrystalline doped, wow, that's something. The glowstone doped monocrystal silicon boule. I didn't even say it right that time, did I? When I get 10 of them in the system, it stops working. And then I have it set over here, so it will stop cutting the, oh, it's over here. It will stop cutting the glowstone dope wafers, those guys into glowstone dope wafers, when I have like 1,000 of these in the system. And these turn into the, what is it over here? They turn into the power IC wafers, which can be cut into these power IC integrated circuit thingies that we need. I'm stopping that when I have 100 power IC wafers, and I'm stopping cutting the power IC wafer things into the other things over here, right? When I have 1,000 of these. I'll bump that up to 2,000. That should be fine. And I think everything should be working. Since we just set up a lot more EV stuff, let's check how our passive power is doing. Oh, I expected a lot worse than that. Only around 8,000 RF per tick from each of these, which means we're using around 2/3 of our power, which means we still have a little bit of room to grow. However, the next power setup that I want to go for is something slightly different, and I'm going to set that up right now. So I run into a problem. Let me tell you what I was going to do. I was going to make these diesel engines. They make 3 amps of EV per tick, or around 24,000 RF per tick per one. If we put 10 of them down, we can make around 240 to 250,000 RF per tick, because there's a couple extra numbers on the end of that 24,000 EU per tick, or RF per tick. The main problem is titanium. These things ate through my titanium, and I'm not even done crafting them yet. I have 164 titanium ingots. I made up these stable, no, not the stable, the engine intake. I needed 80 of them for 10 of these, and 1, they're very slow to craft. 2, they make 1 with all of this. This is 3 titanium. This is another 5 titanium. This is like 10 titanium per, maybe a little extra. And it ate through 2,000 titanium. Let me tell you that. I have, what, how much titanium stored in here? Well, it's all stored in various different things, but it took 2,000 titanium to craft 80 of these. So I'm out of titanium. What that means is we can't do this right now. We'll do it next episode because, you know, we don't really need the power right now. Next episode, we definitely will. So let's figure out something else to do for a little while. and ooh, it went up. And we'll be okay. I think it might be a good idea to start working towards our tier 3 microminers, because we're going to need to start sending those out soon so we can make better casings and also just better stuff in general. I made this advanced compressor 3, which is an EV compressor, because we needed to make one of the main components of the microminer tier 3, the tungsten carbide heavy plating. So let's set the processing recipe, throw it in there, and check our tungsten carbide. We have enough to send at least one microminer, so that should be fine. Now I should, when I look up compressor, see advanced compressor 3, which should allow me to make this tungsten carbide heavy plating. I can't make tungsten carbide plates yet, so now I can make the plates, and it should do just fine in there. Hopefully these can work in an HV compressor. Yep, looks like they can, and this thing should send over to our EV compressor, where I'm gonna assume it's fairly slow. Yeah, it's pretty slow. However, that'll be okay. We only need one. And there we go. I have my one tungsten carbide thing. Now, let's grab the other low-hanging fruit, because some of this is kind of involved. So, first things first, titanium chest. Nice and simple. It goes in the assembler, and we don't have to worry about it ever again. Next things next, let's talk about this turbo diesel engine. We have tier 3 circuits at the very good level, 4th and final tier 3, so we'll do that. Allow the or dictionary substitution to be on, and that'll be fine. So now throw this in the assembler, and we should be fine with that. The one thing that has me worried here are these. These require quite a bit actually, and the solidified argon, which means we're going to have to start making our first solidified thing. This is one of our first components for the moat of Omnium actually, which we might actually have to start thinking about soon. However, let's move on with this. I already craft field generator MVs for something else, maybe quantum tanks or something, not entirely sure. However, doesn't matter. So, last things last, let's begin crafting up these guys, which I think I can actually just make the recipe for, and it should be fine. I make all of these things already, so the recipes should just go in the assembler, and I should just be able to make them. Let me go ahead and check and make sure. Thruster. Which one was it? It was the reinforced thruster. So let's make 3 of those, and see what we're missing. Redstone reception coils. I thought I made those. Ah, they look the same, but they're pointed a different way. These are conductance coils? Okay. Very simple. Add the recipe for that, and throw it in here, and we should be able to make our thrusters now. Just like that. Okay, perfect. Now all that I have left to tackle is these guys. So let's start looking at this. A couple patterns added later, all I have left is the solidified argon. So let's make a fluid solidifier. Do I even make HV of these? I don't, so we need to add a new recipe. I'm going to go ahead and make this thing at EV and start. It should just go on its own and be done in just a couple seconds. Okay, here is the fluid solidifier for argon. I'm going to need a mold for it. However, let's throw the argon in there, and let's throw the pump right there. I need to change it to import mode, and it should begin pulling as much argon as it can per second. So, how do I make that ball mold? There we have it, the ball mold. It was actually really simple. So let's throw it in there, and it should begin fluid solidifying into argon. And actually, you know what? Instead of doing it like this, let's go ahead and storage bus directly in here, because I don't think we're going to need too much of this argon right now. And let me partition you to solidified argon, and we should be good. A stack of it will be more than enough for now, and I don't want to use up my precious argon, because we're also using it for those monocrystalline silicon boules, if you remember, right here. I've been crafting for a little while, but I just remembered one of the really cool recipes in this pack is that you can just basically duplicate these extended crafting tables into eternity. So I made 2 stacks of them, and that should be good to get through the entire pack. Also, with a little bit more crafting done, I should be able to make the elite extended crafting table. I'm going to do the same thing with this one, craft it into about 2 stacks, and we should be good for the pack. Right now, until I get my first tier 3 microminer, Right now I'm crafting argon buckets, actually, so that should all craft up, and it shouldn't craft up anything because I already had to make it to turn it into the recipe, and this should turn into the tier 3 microminer. Okay, I did everything right this time. This will go on very fun missions using either of those things. I think I'm probably going to want to do this one first, because this will give me rutile, tetrahedrite, and more titanium. Sorry, not titanium. The tungsten. Tungsten, that's what it is. Okay, let me fix this recipe really quick. Now I'm actually making microminers, so I can throw my microminer in there for now. And let's go ahead and send him on a mission. I'm going to need to put him in his extended crafting table right back there. And let's grab him back. Okay, I just need to craft up one quantum chest, and it should take like 2 seconds, right? I have all this stuff pretty much stored in my inventory. Come on, dude. You can do it. And there we go. 2 seconds after I stopped recording, it did its thing. And we should just be able to send him into here. I got rid of the glass because it was just kind of annoying, and I just need to put things in here pretty frequently anyways. So he's off to the races. And that used 20, was that 20 buckets of fuel? Yeah. Okay, that's an expensive mission. I have no issues with fuel. In fact, I have a huge backlog of fuel. I have like 450 buckets in here and 63 more already processed in here. So we're good. But it's still 20 buckets of fuel. Okay, yes, I just wasted an entire microminer mission because I have to destroy this multi-block because it's not getting enough energy. This recipe requires 8,000 RF per tick. I can only supply with this energy input hatch 4,000. So, bye-bye, dude. You just got killed by a collapsing universe. I am so sorry. And now, if I, make another one and put it in here, we can actually get the stuff that we want. Okay, slowly but surely being crafted. Now I can just craft these into the mining lasers, and I added this ender chest here so I can just shove it right back into the system, so it should continue crafting and send everything it needs to send for the microminer right here once it's done. How are you doing, actually? Waiting on the tungsten carbide heavy plating. That's fine. And here's all of the things. So, make me a tier 3 microminer. I'll throw it into my ME system just so it completes the craft and I don't have to worry about it. And I should just be able to grab it right here, and it should work this time. I can supply 16,000 RF per tick to this thing, and it begins going. It's kinda slow. And the final countdown begins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, done. And we should be getting the ore into here now. It's a lot of ore. I hope I didn't void anything. Can this thing fit? It's 1, 2, 3. So it's 15? Or it's, wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 14 outputs, and this thing has 16 outputs, which is perfect. It looks like these are a bunch of nether ores, so they're not getting automatically sent into our processing system. I'm going to process the ores in between episodes, but that's all the time I have for today. I actually spent a lot of time putting things together for this video because a lot of this stuff back down here took a lot of behind the scenes and a lot of brain power because I have the smallest brain of all time. And it looks like this guy's actually stopped. This guy hasn't. This guy hasn't. This guy has. Wait, those guys were already stopped. But, okay, so that's working. I think this guy's still creating these because, yeah, they're not technically on the ME system, so I'm going to back up a stack in here and one in here. So, it's okay. We'll back up a little bit extra. Anyways, I just got sidetracked. Sorry. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe leave a like or something. I'll see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.